Hey guys, took off work today for a couple appointments. Had a personal day due to me, so I took it. So this is gonna be a real short video. A subscriber of mine just sent me an email and showing that the African bishops that represent the southern part of Africa came out and fully accepted Fiducia Supplicans. Now, if you remember, I had made a video a couple weeks ago where I explained what CCAM, that's another group of African bishops that represent a bunch of countries. There's like 54 countries in Africa, so nobody speaks for all of them. But the last one was a pretty large group of countries, and Cardinal Mbango Baswanga, I believe, if I'm pronouncing it right, or if I even spelled it right. I scribbled it real quick. He represented SECAM, SECAM, several African nations. And he said he spoke, and I told you, and the name of the video, if you're not familiar with that one, was African Bishops Agree with Pope Francis, or Pope Francis Agrees with African Bishops on Fiducia Supplicans. And they said they spoke to Pope Francis, and they were very respectful of him, very different from what was reported. The cardinal then said, Pope Francis agreed with us. We told him we know Fiducia Supplicant does not change church teachings on marriage. It's a beautiful document. Everything in it we agree with, but we don't think we can implement it because it's very uneducated people, very simple people in our countries, and it may be misunderstood. And he said Pope Francis understood, and he said that, he showed him, like, right in the document, it says that, each bishop needs to use prudent. It says it right in the document that if people will misunderstand this for other than blessing the person, if they think it's blessing a sexual union or anything that resembles a same-sex union, don't do it. It's right in there. So Pope Francis, of course, agreed because that was in the document. But yesterday, January 30th, Cardinal Brislin, who represents SACBC, Southern Africa's Catholic Bishop Conference, and they represent Botswana, Swaziland, and South Africa, those three countries. He said that their conference fully accepts Fiducia Supplicans. He says because it is clear in the document that it does not change church teachings. It actually goes out of its way to explain that same-sex unions are not in accordance with God, and same-sex unions cannot be blessed, but only the persons involved in these unions can be blessed. And by blessing, it means be led to repentance and conform to the will of God, conform to church teachings. And that was yesterday, January 30th. Cardinal Brislin of the Southern African Catholic Bishop Conference says the Southern African bishops, the African bishops in his conference, fully accept this document, and they want their bishops to implement, but use prudent. Be prudent about it, and be very careful. Don't let it look just like the document says that people, what your blessing that you're giving to the people that come up to you spontaneously and ask for a blessing. Let them understand this blessing is to give them, pray for actual grace to help them to conform to the will of God. And same-sex unions is not in accord with the will of God. But he said we will fully accept it and implement it the way it's written. Because there's nothing controversial. The only confusion is the people that took it out of context to use it against Pope Francis. And like I said, it's a leftist tactic that the haters of the church and the haters of Pope Francis use. Like Saul Alinsky, a communist who hated the church, teaches, they're using a Saul Alinsky tactic here. The issue is never the issue. The issue wasn't Fiducia Supplicants. If any honest person could read it and can clearly see, it goes out of its way to say church teaching can't be changed. It's only those who hate the church and hate the Pope taking it out of context. Now, some people who love the Pope and love the church are deceived by those who twisted it out of context. And many people I know, they never even read it and are against it. Or they read one part out of context that someone showed them. Or they heard a YouTuber take it out of context. Just remember, Jesus told Peter, The gates of hell will not prevail against his church. Matthew 16:18. God bless and stay Catholic. And pray for the Pope.